Hello everyone, my name is Melinda Hart. You are watching Stamping with Hart. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and today we are going to be making some alternate projects with the September 2020 paper pumpkin kit called Hello Pumpkin. So this month's kit is cracker box treat boxes. You get 20 in the box. And there is a fall or Halloween theme, just depending on what you choose. And I wanted to show you some of the alternate projects that I have been working on with this kit. I'm just going to walk through these really quickly. So we have from the Moving Along stamp set, we have some elements that I have added onto the cracker box. I think it's a perfect combination of stamps with the cracker boxes. My son is going to be turning 5 in October, and he loves anything with wheels, trains, cars, you name it. So I was playing around with the idea of treat boxes for his birthday. So here's one idea. Here's another one. This is Cajun Craze that's printed on the box, and this is the Cinnamon Cider ink. Here is an alternative color that I added in. This is Blackberry Bliss, but it's stamped off once. And then again, this is all from the Moving Along stamp set. The other thing that you may notice is that on the treat box itself, I added in additional lines to the treat box. Okay, so I believe that was in the light Blackberry Bliss. And then on this one, same thing. So we have the It's Your Day. This is pumpkin pie, but you'll see that I added in black lines to the cracker box. So here's what well, let me show you on this one. This is one that does not have the added black lines, and this is one that does. Okay, so you can see that little extra pop right there. It's subtle, but it really does add to the cracker box if that is something that you have been, thinking about adding in a color to the boxes. If you're going to be decorating them in an alternate way and you want to tie in another color. Okay, now we have some fall and Halloween ones. Okay, so we have Hello Pumpkin, and then we have this Hello Pumpkin. So the concept with these was that I decorated them all the way around the box. I also did some heat embossing with these. So the Hello Pumpkin is actually heat embossed, and then we have some leaves from the paper pumpkin stamp set that are heat embossed as well in gold right onto the box. Okay, this was also heat embossed, the banner. This banner is from the Moving Along stamp set, and the Hello Pumpkin stamp from the paper pumpkin kit actually fits right in there. And then here we do some Halloween ones. So both the Trick or Treat Spooky and Sweet stamp and the Little Pumpkin Face stamp, those both come in this month's paper pumpkin kit. I just really stuck to a simple theme here. And then my additions are, I heat embossed these in black. Now, for whatever reason, Stampin' Up, when their last catalog went out, they stopped selling the black embossing powder. But I know that this is something that most crafters own. So unfortunately, the black embossing powder is no longer in the catalog, but you can still get, I think, white, gold, silver, and clear. So if you would want to do this in gold or silver, or if you have this in your, in your craft space, or you could get it at a craft store. Okay, and then I added in the bats from the Magic in This Night suite. Okay, I wanted to show you, I actually put regular bats and the black glitter bats right on this so that you could see the difference. So this is the black glitter paper, and this is regular basic black paper. So just whatever your preference is. Because this has some shine to it, I really wanted to have some shine with the bat too, but I wanted to show you both. Okay, so no matter what you choose. And then we have the little pumpkin face all the way around. The last one that we have here is the Happy Halloween. Okay, so in the paper pumpkin, they actually have a stamp that says "Have a Happy Halloween," and I just covered up with a Post-it the "Have a" part so that I could fit it right here on the box. You could probably fit it right to the lines if you kept the whole stamp intact, but I just thought I'm just going to stick with Happy Halloween. And then this spider is also from the Magic in This Night Suite. The little embellishments here are from the Magic in This Night Suite. And then these glitter spider webs are actually from the Have a Hoot bundle, or more specifically the dies. Okay, and then, oh, if you're looking at this little twine here, okay, so I did use the paper pumpkin kit comes with black and white twine. Okay, so white or black, you'll get both in this month's kit. But I wanted to mention this because I think it's such an awesome fit. It's also a little bit easier to tie. This is actually from the Playful Pets suite, and it's already wound in the black and white. So if you own this, or if you have some extra embellishments, even whatever twine you may have at home, then you know anything will go, just depending on whatever your theme is. But this specifically worked for me because I was working with Halloween. Okay, so the other thing that I forgot to mention was the number sign, and then the actual number 5 that comes from our alphabet dies, and that's in the Playful Patterns suite. But of course you could just purchase the dies too, so I did want to mention that as well. So here are our alternates. We're just going to be working with Cracker Box alternates today, but I am hoping to have another video out with some card alternatives for those of you who prefer cards to treat boxes. So let's go ahead and we're going to recreate a couple of these boxes. I just wanted to mention quickly about the October kit. So if you haven't already signed up for Paper Pumpkin, you don't want to miss this kit. The sign up period is from September 11th to October 10th. I will have a link in the description of how you can subscribe to Paper Pumpkin. You can do month to month, you could do prepaid, or you could suspend or cancel at any time. It looks like there's going to be another specialty box here, so don't miss this. Okay, I just want to show this to you quickly. So here are your pamphlet and instructions for the September 2020 Paper Pumpkin kit. Up here in the corner right on the front, it will tell you the quantity of either boxes or cards that you're going to get. This is 20 cracker boxes. This shows you the way that they've decorated their original designs, the Paper Pumpkin team designs, which are also very cute. But I'm going to be completely going off from that. So one of the things that I like to show everybody are the instructions, just so that you know where they are. Again, I'm not going to be recreating the original designs today, but I did want to show you just the things that you may need to know in case you're new to Paper Pumpkin. And leave me a comment in this video and let me know if you'd like to see the original boxes being assembled in addition to the alternates, or if you're okay with the alternate videos now being separate from the originals. All right, and then here is what your kit includes. Here are our coordinating colors, which I'll be going over in just a moment. And then we also have the alternate projects from the Paper Pumpkin team themselves. And then they have the Do More with this month's kit. One thing I did want to point out to you guys, you can actually see a list of coordinating products that match this month's kit at stampinup.com/paperpumpkin-coordination. That's awesome. So I just wanted to point that out so that you can go and check out some product coordination ideas. So let's talk about the alternate colors. What you're seeing here is every stamp that comes in the September 2020 Paper Pumpkin stamp set, and I stamped it in every color. This helps me to design. This helps me to understand where I'm going to go with this kit, the colors that I like the best, the way that the stamps look in each of the colors. So this is something that if you don't, mind taking a little time to do it, it can actually be very beneficial. And if you ever just need one of the stamps quickly, you'll have these to go to. Okay, and you could just die cut them out, or however you want to do it. So there's Bumblebee. This one is in black. Now, black is one of the colors in the kit, but there's the little ink spot that comes in the kit this month is actually Cajun Craze. Okay. Here's Mossy Meadow. I'm going to put these two next to each other so that you can see it's a subtle difference. Mossy Meadow and Old Olive. So if you only have one or the other, it's totally fine. Here's Cajun Craze. That's the star of the show this month. Pumpkin Pie, which is my personal favorite. And Cinnamon Cider, which is probably my follow-up favorite. Okay, so let's go ahead and make some alternate projects. Here is what your cracker box looks like right out of the box. Okay, and what I'm going to do, because I'm going to be adding a line throughout this box, adding a color in, I'm going to leave these little die cut diamonds in here until after I'm finished. And that is just to keep the whole thing as flat and straight as possible, which will make tracing the lines on easier. So I'm going to be using my basic black dark marker for this. I'm going to be using the bullet tip side right there. Okay. And what you want to do is just find a comfortable position and start adding your lines. Okay. Now, the other thing that I want to say about this is that as you're adding your lines, okay, here, I decided that I kind of liked this white line, the third line in, before the next pumpkin pie line. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm going to get it perfect every time because this is an imperfect thing to do. It's going to be really, really difficult to get it exactly perfect, and that's okay. I mean, people aren't really going to notice if there are imperfections once your box is put together and decorated. But just take your time with this if this is a technique that you want to add in to your cracker boxes. Okay, so I will speed that up in the video so that you don't have to spend the full time watching me add in these lines, but in actual time this took 7.5 minutes. So this is a project that if you decide to add in these lines, it will take about 7.5 minutes. At least you can expect that timeline, and then that is the difference when you add in that line. So really, really adds that pop of color, and of course it could be whatever color you need. Okay, that was basic black dark. Okay, so I'm just going to pop out these diamonds. Save these for later. Okay, so this is what I mean about visuals. If you pull, either the cardstock, the coordinating cardstock, or the ink pads, whatever it is that you're going to be using in your alternate projects, I always like to get the stamp pads and stamp in all the colors, which we just went over. But when you look at this color palette, what do you see? Now, aside from Autumn, which is, the standout here, I actually see more of a masculine palette, okay? And that is just my personal opinion and what I think of in traditional masculine colors. Now, I actually like making masculine card projects. That is just something that appeals to me. You know, I have a little boy. I'm definitely outnumbered in my house, boys to girls. So when I see this color palette, I see a lot of potential for a lot of guy projects. Now, if you have girls in your family that love anything involving transportation, if they love helicopters, if they love cars, if they love trains, we're going to be getting into the moving along stamp set here. But this is the color palette that I wanted to stick with one exception. If you did want to tie in another color that I believe is fall, but a little bit more on the feminine side, a purple color is the Blackberry Bliss. Okay, and then that was what ended up being this car, but stamped off, but still within that color family, because a lot of people will tie in purple with orange, either for fall or Halloween. A lot of people get purple mums to decorate their homes. So I wanted to mention that. But this is the palette from Paper Pumpkin this month. And when you take a look at that, I just think, wow, you know? Okay, so here we are. This is the Moving Along Photopolymer stamp set. I bought this stamp set pretty much as soon as I saw the pre-order for the catalog, because I knew I was going to use it for my son's birthday, which is coming up in October. If you take a look here, there are so many different options. Now, off to the side here, what I want to show you is this is one of the two-step stamp sets. So for every outline, you have a fill stamp, and that's what we have here. So we have the outline of the car, and then we have the fill stamp that colors the car. Okay, we have the It's Your Day sentiment, which is right in here. There's a lot of great sentiments in this stamp set. And here is that super cute little banner right here. Okay, now on this one, because I'm using a car, we use the roadway. Okay, we use this strip of road. But then for the train, okay, so it's the same thing for every train car, for every outline, there is a fill stamp. So here are the fill stamps. Then they have this little thing for filler for your trains. I wanted to make that coal, so that's why that's heat embossed, if you can see that little bit of shine there. But Kylie Bertucci, who's a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia, she did a version of this where these are clouds, which I thought was also really, really cute. And of course, you can do that because of the helicopter. So here we have a little steam stamp. There are so many different little stamps that you can add. The stars, there's fillers for the helicopter blade. We have the train tracks right here. So you could really build out. I'm going to be doing a video just on this, you know, aside from the Paper Pumpkin alternates, coming up soon. But for now, I just wanted to show you these, because these are the stamps that we're going to be using today, along with the It's Your Day stamp set. We're also going to be using this banner stamp. Okay, so for the outline of the car, we're going to be using the Memento Tuxedo Black. Okay, so I just want to show you this. Now, the Memento Tuxedo Black, it's a really good, it's still a solid black to do the roadway. If you got the basic black Stampin' Spot, this would have been in the June 2020 Paper Pumpkin kit. I just think that this black is so beautifully saturated that I ended up using this one. But it's entirely up to you. The one that came in the June kit is an archival ink. So it is a permanent ink, and it will stain your stamp. So the Memento Tuxedo Black will clean off of your stamp, but the archival one will not. And I just think that that look is a more, that's what I think of when I think of black asphalt. Okay, so that really solid black strip right there. We're going to take pumpkin pie. I mean, how cute is that? Just ignore that 5. That's for my son's birthday. But here, let me show you these colors. So here's Bumblebee. Here's Mossy Meadow. Here's Old Olive. Here is Pumpkin Pie. Here is Cajun Craze. Okay, now here is Cajun Craze stamped off. So if you want that lighter color, but you still want it to coordinate back, this is what Blackberry Bliss looks like with the original stamp and then with it stamped off once. Here's what the coal looks like when it's stamped in the Memento Black, equally adorable. Here is Cinnamon Cider stamped off once, which is almost like a latte color, really beautiful. And then the color that is missing is Cinnamon Cider, and that's because I actually used it on this box. So if you're using any of the coordinating colors with this stamp set for the Paper Pumpkin kit, just look at how cute that is. Every single one of them is adorable. Okay, one thing I did want to mention, if you do not want to do any detail or fussy cutting with scissors, use what they provide in the Paper Pumpkin kit this month. Use these little sentiments. So stamp your car and your road right onto this little square, you know, or if you have a larger square, you know, you can create a scene with the stamps on a card without having to trim them out, and you just put that on your box. Okay. So you could just put that there instead. For me, I'm more of a detail cutter, so I'm going to fussy cut these out. I like to give myself extras in case I don't stamp it right. So in your Paper Pumpkin box, you're going to be getting these 3M strips, nice and thin, that we're going to use to seal up our box, just so that you can see it there, nice and thin. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our box, we're going to warm up the score lines. And we're going to completely overlap one row here. Just make sure our score lines and everything line up. Just going to press that on. Okay. Then we're going to tie our little cracker boxes. Because this is an alternate project, I'm going to use the alternate twine choice. If you're just making 1 or 2 of these, you know, you can get as fancy as you want with the bows. Or if you're a very patient person, of course, you could get as fancy as you want with the bows. For me, if I'm doing 20 of these, which I'm seriously considering doing for my son's birthday, I'm just going to tie a knot like that. And then I'm just going to trim off the little edges. Okay, but if you want to tie bows, you can. I did do a bow on one. So this is the one with the actual bow. So if you like that, look over this one. But this will definitely be simpler. Okay, there won't be a lot of fussing with the twine. So I would just, you know, if you're making a design choice there, I would just think in terms of quantity. Okay. Okay. All right, and now we can, oh, you can decorate your box flat too, if that's easier for you. So you can either use those 3M strips that I just showed you, or we can use our tear and tape. And I don't see the tear and tape directly in front of me, so let's just use the 3M strip. It's okay if it runs long, we're just going to fold it back over. There are actually 2 strips here. Okay, so this is very bendable. So I'm just going to fold that back just so that you can't see it on the road. I'm going to take a dimensional. I'm going to put the car a little bit more on this side of the road because we're going to put our sentiment right here. Now, when I was designing these last night, I'm not sure where I put my tear and tape. I really only put the tape right in the center. Okay, but this strip, improvising, just put it across the whole thing. Okay, and so it's your day. And then if you want to add in any extras on the ends, you would just, you know, die cut your number and then put it right on the box. But here's an option without, just so that you can see what that looks like. Okay, so for our next alternate project, we're going to be sticking closer to the actual contents of the Paper Pumpkin kit this month. Okay, so we're actually going to be using the Hello Pumpkin stamp set, the leaves, all from this month's stamp set right here. You can see, so the Hello Pumpkin, the leaves. We're going to be using some of the decorative die cuts that come into the kit here. Okay, the major difference of what I will be doing is heat embossing, and I'm going to be heat embossing in gold. The gold is available in the Stampin' Up! Catalog, so I'm going to go ahead and start doing my heat emboss technique here. Now you could use your Versamark pad. I do not have my Versamark pad. I'm using a different embossing. I'm using an embossing dauber. So this is not in the catalog. I just wanted to point that out. Originally, when I made this, I did the Hello Pumpkin on every side, but when I used the green, like I really love the way the orange looks with this Paper Pumpkin right here, but I did not like the green, so I ended up redoing it and covering it with this banner. So we can just recreate this, or we can try a different color. I think Bumblebee would have looked much better. Okay, so, but that's why we play and experiment with these videos, right? So the other thing I want to mention, if you're going to do any type of heat embossing, is using the use the embossing buddy. So what you do is you wipe this over your project, and it will take any of the oils like from your hands or anything off, so that only the embossed area will keep the powder will keep the embossing powder so that you don't have these little speckles everywhere. Now, I tend to do this in more than one pass. Like I'll do the sentiments first and then I'll do the leaves on either side. But just whatever your process is. Now, we used to offer this in our catalog, but we do not offer it anymore. I'm not sure why. But you can get these at pretty much any local craft store. Okay. My embossing powder is actually another brand. I haven't gotten any of the Stampin' Up! Embossing powders yet, but whatever embossing powder that you have is fine. Okay, so you can see that's pretty clean. Okay, so we're gonna move this out of the way so that you can see this heat embossing process here. I'm just going to let my heat tool warm up. We do have a heat tool that is available in the catalog. I have my own heat tool, so whatever heat tool you have is fine. Going to concentrate the heat, and we can see that's starting to change. And so as soon as it does, we're going to move on to the next. And then once your heat tool is warm enough, you can do that pretty quickly. All right, that looks great. Okay, so you're going to want to let your embossing powder dry. It doesn't take long, but if you stay on too long, you can actually like melt, you can actually melt the embossing powder too much. So you definitely want to try to like move off of it as soon as you can. Like you can see here with that H and that E right here in the corner, either that wasn't fully clearly stamped or I stayed a little too long on that with my heat tool. Either way, it's not the end of the world, but that's what it looks like without any, without anything on it. Just makes such a difference, doesn't it? And then you can decorate. The reason that I did them off to the side like this was so that you could add your little die cut decorations on this side. Okay. So let's go ahead and now we're going to do the leaves. The tabs is where, I'm not the tabs, the end pieces here, this last strip on either side is where we're going to be putting our leaves. Okay, so what I tend to do is I will often put stamps on opposite sides of a block and then just toggle them. Just 1, 1, 1, 1. That's just kind of my pattern. You do whatever works for you. And if you are new to Paper Pumpkin, if this is your first month with a Paper Pumpkin kit, you will get a block that is included that you can use with any of the stamping that you do within your kit. And when you're doing the stamping as instructed in the Paper Pumpkin kit, it's basic. Okay, so it's just real simple stamping. This is a little more stamping than what a Paper Pumpkin kit would recommend, but that's what the alternates are for, to do some fun alternatives. Okay, so you can create whatever pattern that you want. All I'm trying to do is one of each leaf on each section. I mean, to me, the heat embossing is still one of the most impactful things that you can do as a crafter. It's just like being a kid, and it feels like magic, you know? I don't know why I don't do this more often, but for some reason I associate heat embossing with like fall and winter, like the holidays and stuff like that. Like that's when you kind of get those specialty touches. And you know, with the autumn sets that they have out and everything, I just think that this is such a nice little addition, especially if you want to dress up or, you know, make your paper pumpkin kit a little fancier, because these cracker boxes are actually really cool, you know. Okay. So it's totally up to you from a design standpoint if you want to do any let's see, like any of this dauber shading. Okay, I liked it, but you don't have to do it. What I would recommend is that you stick with the lighter colors. I decided to do that darker green, and I really don't think that that was the best choice. So what I would do, I'm going to try the bumblebee this time around, and then we'll do the pumpkin pie too. Okay, so I'm just going to grab my sponge daubers. Okay, the magic of editing allows me to just have a cleared space and then move on to the next. But at home, if you're heat embossing, take a minute to clean up your space. Make sure you don't have any leftover embossing powder anywhere so that you don't get it on your table or your furniture or anything like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the next part of this. So I'm going to take we have our little mini daubers. Okay, I'm going to do pumpkin pie first. And I was just like toggling this. Now, keep in mind that one of these is going to go, you know, you're going to be like hiding it. So like this one right here that has the messed up leaves on it. And I mean, it's not terrible, but I'm actually going to use this as the one that I hide. So just something to keep in mind. Have your little scrap paper here for just the excess. And then I'm just going to lightly do a little inking right over the color, doing a little bit of shading here with my pumpkin. And I just think it gives it like a little bit of a glow. And then I'm just going to skip over, okay, and go to the next one. Make sure that your embossing has had a minute to dry. It doesn't take long. Okay, and then for the other color, let's do Bumblebee. Yes, I like Bumblebee much, much better than the green. Okay. Now, because you went over, my screen looks really dark for some reason. Because we went over the heat emboss with a little bit of ink, I'm just gonna go over it and pick up the ink that stayed on the heat embossing so that we don't get any extra ink on our fingers. Okay, and that should be fine. That should clean that up nicely. Okay, so now we can go ahead and, now you can either, you know, put your embellishments on before you assemble your box. I tend to assemble my box and then put on my embellishments, and that's so that I can gauge my spacing. All right, so here are a couple of tips on just a few little add-ons that I thought were really cute with this kit. The first are the little acorn trinkets, these guys right here. Okay, so they are so cute. They just add that little extra touch, certainly not necessary. Now the acorn trinkets are available in our 2020 August to December mini catalog, aka the holiday catalog. They're part of the Gilded Autumn suite, or you could just get them on their own. If you don't want to add those, it looks just as cute without it. For the embellishments, okay, so here are some of the die cut leaves. When you look at the sheet, you can see that there are details on it. You know, you can see that they're cut right in. But when you look at it like this, it just looks flat to me. So I wanted to add a little extra touch. So I brought in my Stampin' blends. Okay, I did the dark in each one of the shades. So this is old olive dark. And I'm just going to trace right over the veins that are cut in just to add that little bit of touch. Now, the other thing that you could do, they don't have Bumblebee, but they do have Daffodil Delight, so I use Daffodil Delight. I do have the dark cinnamon cider, and I have the dark pumpkin pie for Cajun Craze. I don't have the Cajun Craze markers. Okay, so, and that's fine. Let me just show you what that looks like. It looks good. So just add that on, and this is the bullet tip that I am using. The other thing that you could add in is the Wink of Stella. If you feel like you just need a little bit of extra shimmer on your project, and you certainly don't have to do both. You could do one or the other. Same here for my pumpkin. So let me focus on this pumpkin right here. So if I just add in a little bit of sparkle, just a little touch there. Okay, so I'm just kind of following the lines that the artists have there. And that gives us just that little bit of shine. Okay, everybody, here is our finished box. Isn't that just so adorable? Okay, so if you like paper pumpkin videos, give this video a like. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel and you like crafting tutorials or you like paper pumpkin, I do alternate videos every month. Go ahead and click the subscribe button. If you click the bell, you can get notifications every time I release a video. Feel free to leave me a comment, and if you're comfortable sharing, if you know anybody who likes alternate videos with paper pumpkin, go ahead and share this out. Thank you so much. Have a great day.